Hello viewers, my name is Panshak Jan and you're welcome to another exciting and educating video like this one. Don't make these mistakes at your next job interview. I want to tell you a story, okay? It's a personal story of the first time I attended a job interview. This was about 4 to 5 years ago. I had just graduated from university and I got an offer to come and be interviewed for a job before I could proceed for my National Youth Service program. And something happened at the interview office. When I walked in to the HR's office, I noticed that there was only one chair aside from the one he was sitting on. And there were two people in the office. Myself, three people. Myself, the HR, and the pregnant woman. Now, this pregnant woman was the one who brought me into this office to meet the HR. And I need you to remember that I said there was only one seat at the office, right? And when he asked my name and I told him my name was Panshak Jan. He asked if I was ready for the interview and I said yes, I was. So he said, you can take a seat. Now, I was offered a seat while a pregnant woman was standing. Do you understand how society is obligated or mandated to treat women in their pregnancy period? It's like being on the bus and you're taking a seat while a pregnant woman is standing. You know that there's no written rule that you must stand up, but as a person of conscience, your sense of reasoning would ask you, hey mom, can you take a seat? I would stand. You would willingly want to offer your seat to this pregnant woman, right? So now at this office, I was asked to sit while the woman was standing. And what I did was I declined the seat and I asked her, mom, can you sit instead? And she sat down, and that was the first test. Now, I did not do this with a thought in my head that I was being tested. I just did it genuinely because I knew this woman would be better off sitting than if I was, right? It was after I walked out of the office and even out of the organization that I realized that I had just been tested and I had passed. When you go to job interviews, everything you do from the entrance is a test. Everything around you is designed in a way to test if this person is employable, if we should bring this guy into our organization and spend our hard-earned revenue on salary for him and his family or whatever it is. Now, there are 10 things you should never do when you go to a job interview. When you stay with me, I will go through them briefly with you. Number one, when you go to a job interview, politely greet everybody. Now, assuming you're walking into these organizations and at the gate you see a man looking tattered, right? He doesn't look like a madman, but he looks like maybe a gatekeeper or something. And you walk in and you speak to him rudely. And at your interview office, and you imagine you find him being your interviewer, how would you feel? On days of interviews, there's one thing organizations do is sometimes their top heads in the organizations disguised as low-level individuals to see how interviewees would treat them if they were not in suits or in their offices. I've watched countless videos of people being rude to strangers on the plane, in the car, in the taxi, and in different situations, only to come to the organization and find out that this guy they were rude to is actually the person who would interview them, who has the right to determine if they get the job or not. So when you're going out on an interview job, be polite to everybody and greet everybody, even the lowest human being you can see. Number two, Do not go in and seek to charge your phones or any device. Now, I understand that there are some situations where you might wake up one morning unable, without battery, with without your phone fully charged, right? And you might be frustrated and need a way out to plug your phone so you stay connected. Now, as frustrating and as desperate as you might be, never go to an organization where you're being interviewed and seek to plug your phones or any device to charge while waiting for your interview time. One of these things is wrong. It's because most, especially nowadays, most corporations have CCTV cameras hidden. You don't know who's looking at you. You don't know who's looking at you. And you don't want to give them an impression that you prioritize your device over what you came to the organization to do, which is to seek for a job, right? The little things count, so avoid giving a negative impression at all. Number three, avoid irrelevant calls or chats. Stay off your phone. Now, you don't have to be on your phone making calls about this guy or that was supposed to send you money but failed to send you the money, or how your dog needs someone to walk them off. Whatever it is, as long as it's not relevant to the interview, for those few hours, try as much as possible to leave your phone off your hands. Have them in your pockets and only pick them in case of emergencies, right? You don't have to be on the waiting line and you're on your phone 247. When the office assistant comes out to pick somebody who would go in next and he sees you distracted on your phone, he might decide to call somebody else and say, "Hi, come in." And you get neglected again and again and again because you have given them a perception that this guy has more pressing things to do on his or her phone right now. So let's attend to other people. And then you might miss out on an opportunity that is yours. Number four, do not appear desperate. Now, do not appear desperate is one of the laws, 48 laws of power, and it's also one of the rules of the art of war by Sun Tzu, right? Never to appear desperate in negotiations or in any situation at all. You might be having challenges in your life, in your finance. You might be poor. You might have lacked, or been seeking for a job for 5 or 10 years without luck. Don't go and bring all those burdens into the job interview. Do not come looking poor or like your problems. Like they say, do not come looking like your problems, right? Come looking energetic. Look optimistic. Do not appear desperate. For instance, let's say the interviewer asks you, if you don't get this job, what would you do? How would you feel about it? Don't go crying about, well, I'll feel bad about it, or I don't know how I'll do because my next meal depends on this job. What you should do instead is say, well, if I don't get this job, I'm positive that I would get another one. If I don't get this job, then maybe it's not for me. But I'm optimistic that I would find favor in this interview. Do not appear desperate. That's just the point. As much as possible, no matter how much debt you have yet to pay, whatever it is, leave it at home. Don't take it to the interview. Number five, do not engage with fellow interviewers. Now, I know that it is very important to connect with people, make friends, and build a network, right? But the place of interview is not the place to do that. Do not go and chit chat with co-workers. Do not do that. With co-workers or interviewees, people that are also there for the interview. Now, I've attended an interview where we both came and I met somebody from university that I knew. The only thing we did was shake hands, and that was all. We never acted like we knew each other. And someone will feel like this person is being rude, but that's the law. You don't go there and be friendly with another interviewee, right? So do not engage with fellow interviewers. As much as possible, be polite, greet them, sit down, and mind your business. Do not go to talk about the economic hardship of the state, what the politicians are doing wrong and what they should do right. Don't do that. That's not where to talk about that. You can talk about that at a beer parlor or whatever it is you feel most comfortable, but don't do it at your job interview. Number 6, don't start praying out loud. Don't start praying out loud. I want to emphasize this. Don't start praying out loud. I understand that prayer is the key. Prayer is important, but do not pray out loud at the plate of an interview, because most organizations have a way of limiting conversations about religion, because religion sometimes, as good as it is, sometimes brings about division, right? Now when you go into an organization where there are people from diverse religions, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, whatever it is, and you're out there praying out loud or shouting in tongues, the fact is you're going to leave the others who are not members of your own religion uncomfortable, and that would affect the atmosphere of the place. So if you want to pray, pray at home before you come to your job interview. Do not accept food or drinks, right? I know that you might be in a hurry and might have left home without making breakfast or without eating anything solid. But I advise you, if they offer you coffee, tea, snacks, decline politely and tell them thank you. That's not why I was here. Do not accept foods or drinks. It shows your priorities, right? When you come for a job interview, your mind should be focused on the job interview, nothing more. No foods, no drinks. When you do accept them, it shows that you can easily be distracted and you don't want your employer having that perception of you at the start before you even get into the office door. Now, do not criticize your previous employer. This is very important. It's one of the things that, let me use a relationship as an example, right? Imagine you're on the first date with a partner, someone you met, not really a partner. You're on the first date with someone you're interested in getting to know better. And when you ask them about their previous relationships, and all they spend 5, 10, 15 minutes bad mouthing their ex, their last partner, right? They're talking about all the wrongs that the person did and how the person would have done better. But they never say anything about what they did wrong. How would you feel about such a person? You know that person is vindictive first, and that person that person lacks accountability, because all that person had done in that period of time was to shift the blame on somebody else while neglecting their own part in the problem. Now, you don't want to be that type of partner on the first date, because interviews are really first dates, right? You have one chance to make a first impression. When you are asked about your previous employee, no matter how rough things were with you and the person, try as much as possible to pass only positive compliments, no negatives. If you decide to pass negative compliments, no matter how true it is, it would affect you more than it will affect the other person. Because one, if I'm hiring you, what if after 2 years or 3 years you no longer work for me? Would you go back to your next employer and tell them terrible things about me? I would be scared of that, so I wouldn't want to hire you. You don't want to shoot yourself in the leg. Number 9, don't chew gum. Read a book instead. It's okay if you're feeling nervous at job interviews, right? And it's common, really. All of us get tense at job interviews. You're feeling, I don't know if I'm going to get this, I don't know if I'm going to lose it, right? Instead of chewing gum, I advise that you take a book with you and read. You take a book and you read. Readers are leaders, and everybody appreciates a reader. So it will give you a better perception or an image when an interviewer sees you reading than when he sees you chewing gum. Number 10, put a smiling face. Put a smiling face. Even if your interviewer passes a negative compliment, or when you feel like the interview did not go well, don't leave there with your heads down, your shoulders down, and looking downtrodden. What you should do instead is smile, thank them, appreciate them for their time, and tell them I look forward to hearing from you, and walk out of the office positive, hoping that they call you back. Don't look sad because your previous interviews did not go well, so you're not even positive about this particular one. Don't do that. Look energetic and smile. Everybody wants to have happy people around them. When you look sad, nobody likes sad people, right? So cheer up and keep a smiling face, as simple as it is. Now, if you followed me up to this point, I'm sure that you've learned one or two things about what not to do at your next job interview. I want you to do me a favor, click the subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment on the section. Leave a comment in the comment section telling me what you want me to create a video about next, and what you learned about this, or one more tip or something someone shouldn't do at a job interview. I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye.